How's it going, everybody? I hope you're all having a good day. In the previous video, I just mentioned that if you leave a comment, I will pick somebody in this video and send them something in the mail. So here we are in the YouTube random comment picker once again, and there were 34 distinct commenters in the last video. And now we're just going to start this up and see who wins. And the winner here is Khan the Video Game Hunter. If you're watching this, just send me an email to gettingyournerdon13@gmail.com and I will send you something in the mail. Thank you all for watching, and now let's start the video. Okay, so first up, we're going to look at some packages from eBay. Now, this cost about $5 shipped, and this got lost in the mail for quite a while. I was about to ask for my money back when it just decided to show up. Now, besides this Genesis shmups, another collection I'm trying to complete right now is the Light Gun Wii games. I have almost all of them, but I didn't have Wild West Shootout. Now, this came in two versions. The first here is in the cardboard sleeve, kind of like Wii Sports, but it actually did get a full retail release by itself with cover art and everything. Now, I'm pretty sure this did come here brand new, but it actually does not work. I tried it on two Wiis. The disc looks immaculate, but neither of them will read the disc. This game is also playable with these 3D glasses, kind of like Attack of the Movies 3D, which is another light gun game on the Wii, and they have not been punched, as you can see. And then here's the manual. I mean, I'm not going to split hairs with the guy, the fact that it doesn't work, because again, I'm pretty sure this game was new because it's flawless. It's not like it's scratched to hell and won't read, but just neither Wii will actually read this game, so it's probably just a printing error. Next up, there's a game that I love on the Wii called Ocean Commander, and it's a game that most people don't care about and even less have even heard of. I've seen people pass up complete copies at like 99 cents. Anyway, it did get a DS release. I don't know if this is a port or exactly what this is, but it's called Underwater Attack. And I didn't even know that this game even existed until I was just scrolling through eBay and I saw the shark on the cover of this game, which is the same shark on the cover of Ocean Commander. The guy wanted $20 shipped for it. I offered him $10. He took it, and here it is, brand new. And then finally, I am a big fan also of the Master System. I'm a big fan of a lot of video games, and I have quite a nice Master System collection, but I am missing one of the Fantasy Zone games. It's called Fantasy Zone The Maze, and this isn't a game you really ever hear anybody talk about. I don't know how many people even know about this game. It's very different from the other games, but this was complete, and it's really like in mint condition. And the guy was asking $8 shipped. He was posting a bunch of his Master System games at the time, and I jumped on this as soon as I saw it because I had been looking for this. This game will probably run you about $30 in this condition. And again, it's one that you don't see and one I just had really been looking for. Fantasy Zone The Maze was developed by Sega and released in 1987 for the Sega Master System in arcades. The game is the third in the series and continues to center around Opa Opa, who is the star of all the Fantasy Zone games. Unlike the other games in the series, which are shoot-'em-ups, this entry plays like the arcade version of Pac-Man. You have to navigate through multiple mazes, either destroying or avoiding your enemies, while collecting coins and power-ups to level up the ship. The maze also features a two-player simultaneous option. Okay, so here's a pawn shop that I've taken you guys to before. This is the Super Nintendo selection, a lot of 10-footers here. Up in the top left-hand corner is the price chart. Now, this place does prices by like these circle stickers, or they'll do them like this, where that's an actual price on there for Ultimate Basketball $7.99. But most of the time, they're with these circle stickers, so you just kind of find the color and then line it up, and then you know how much it costs. There's Trog for $12.99. I used to come here a lot years ago when there was a really nice selection here, but a lot of the stuff that's left is just really common stuff or stuff that's just too overpriced to actually pick up. You can probably just get a lot of it cheaper on eBay. Now here's some box GBA stuff. Honestly, a couple bucks a piece is not bad if this is the stuff that you're looking for. Here's Let's Ride, what is that, Dreamer? 10-footer. Here's Polly Pocket, also 10-footer. We got Bratz. I mean, that's just like 10-footer corner over there. But then they do have this Fairly Odd Parents for $6. That's not that bad. Some of the Nickelodeon games are pretty fun. The art style looks good here. And then again, I mean, I don't know if the game is any good, but it could be. And here's Chicken Shot 2. I mean, I'm pretty certain that that game is trash. You might even be able to get the game for like $3, including shipping on eBay. All right, so next up is Cats. And this one has a blue sticker on it. I don't remember what that even says. And here's what is this? Uno Free Fall. This is only a couple bucks. The thing of it is, this stuff might be 10-footer central, but it's in nice shape. So if this is what you're into or this is what you like, you know, no shame. It's not very expensive, so there's not much of a loss here. There's some Star Wars N64 stuff, Country Club, you know, a lot of sports. You're just seeing sports on sports on sports. 10-footer City. Look at that WrestleMania 2000 label. Before that was Ready to Rumble Boxing, which is cool. There's FIFA 97. Here's a copy of Super High Impact, which is a good football game that I keep meaning to get, and I should have picked it up here because it was only $3, but I passed. Here's the PS1 stuff. There's Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I don't know if that's the soundtrack or the PC game. Here is Jimmy White's Cue Ball pool game. What else we got here? Is that Casper? I can't read anything. There's like Sim City, Cyber Tiger. Here's some NES stuff down there. Bunch of Atari stuff. X-Men was a great game. I used to play the game a lot as a kid. $10 might be a little steep for it. It's kind of a little beat shape. There's a RBI Baseball 4. I was at one point trying to collect all the Tengen games for the Genesis. I kind of stopped doing that. There's just a bunch of trash. There's NBA Jam. There's Jurassic Park, Battleship. Here is a SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, $7 complete. I probably should have picked that up because you guys do know I do love collecting for the GBA. The DS stuff here is all 10 footers. Now here's the PS2 stuff. There's the Devil May Cry. Was that the 5th anniversary collection? This is pretty much the trilogy put together in one set. It's $20 here. When I picked this up in 2018 at a different place, it was like $8, but that one was a lot more beat than this. That's in a lot better shape. Here's the GameCube stuff. There's a pinball game, NBA Live. There's Rocky up in there, the Herbs. There's a 007 game in there. Here's some PS2 stuff. What do we got? Ace Combat. Is that The Sopranos? I talked about that game about probably 10 episodes ago. It's a very brutal game. I was actually surprised that they went balls out like that. What do we got here? Final Fantasy X, 10-2. There's Rayman. Thrillville was there. I've heard great things about that game. I'm waiting to pick it up on the 360. There's Lair. At one point I ended up with like 10 copies of that game because I kept forgetting that I didn't have it and it was like $1. Down below here we have some Wii U and some Wii stuff. A lot of red circles. All that stuff is just $3. So I mean you can do pretty decent here if you're just starting out or you're looking for a lot of common stuff. This stuff is in nice shape too. What do we got here? Here's Puppy Love. There's Top Shot Arcade. Now, I still do need that game. That's one of the Wii Light Gun games that I don't have. I keep passing on it. I don't know why. I'm just going to pick it up next time I see it. What is that? Elebits next to there. Here is No More Heroes. Now, this game has gone up in price quite a bit because the sequel's about to come out, but $3 for this, and it's in great shape. I'm picking it up. No way I'm leaving that behind. Let's see. What else we got here? Dragon Ball Evolution. This is the game from that movie. I don't even know why they even made a game based on that movie because everyone hates that movie. But that's a thing. What else we got here? Some more PS2 stuff. Oh, here's a Capcom Classics Collection Volume 2. Now, I do need this game, but it was $12. I think you can get that like new for $12. Here's some PS3 stuff. This is Lego Lord of the Rings. Now, I did 100% this with my girlfriend last year, but I do want this version when it comes with the DVD, but I don't really need it, so I'm just going to pick it up when I find it cheap. Let's see what else we got here. Some Dragon Ball stuff, Binary Domain. Hitman is in there, MotorStorm. I am looking for one of those MotorStorm games. There's God of War 3. Far Cry 3. There's some Xbox One stuff below it. What else do we have? There's some 360 stuff below that. Left 4 Dead, one of my favorite games ever. Lord of the Rings, yeah, the Battle for Middle-earth 2. That game was going up for a while and it's since plummeted. And then here, of course, here is a Rock Band drum set and guitars. It was $130, now $100. I'd literally rather burn money by lighting a cigar than pay for that. And then here's like their case of their more expensive stuff, I guess. Here's some N64 stuff over here. There's GoldenEye. There's Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, which is actually the last N64 game that was ever released, the last official one anyway. There's some Game Boy Colors over there. There's Animaniacs and Kirby Superstar. There's an At Games Genesis. I don't know how good that one is, but the original one is garbage. There's some GameCube stuff. There's some PlayStation stuff. Again, I mean, this stuff, it's in nice shape, but, you know, you can get most of the stuff for the same price or less on eBay using, like, eBay Bucks and Best Offer and coupons and stuff like that. There's some themed Xbox 360s down there. There's a N64 console. Here's some Pokemon games up here. And this stuff is all individually priced. I mean, they looked this stuff up. The only thing I picked up was No More Heroes. Again, you can see that red sticker there, which means that the game was $3. And this is a great game. It's very fun. If you guys haven't tried it or anything in the series, just grab it, play something, because it's a ridiculous game that you don't see games like this that much anymore. No More Heroes was developed by Grasshopper Manufacturing and was released in 2008 exclusively for the Wii. The game follows Travis Touchdown with his trusty beam katana on his quest to kill the top 10 assassins to become the #1 assassin in the United Assassins Association. The game not only features Wiimote motion controls, but it also incorporates nunchuck motion controls as well. The game uses extreme violence and comedy like most other Suda51 games. No More Heroes received a sequel in 2010, a remake in 2011, and a second sequel in 2019. Alright, so with the Craigslist pickup here, let's play a game. I blocked out how much this person was asking for this lot at the bottom, so think in your head how much you think someone could possibly want for this, and then at the end, I will show you what the guy was asking for. Now this was for 2 GBA handhelds, an SP and an original. SP is missing his charger. He says the GBA has problems with the D-pad and 2 games, Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Pokemon Ruby. Here's the stuff when I got it home. Now, this pickup could have been a 1 in 4 case scenario. 1, the guy was just trolling with a Craigslist ad and he was never going to answer it anyway. 2, you go to pick the stuff up and you wake up the next day in an alley with both of your kidneys missing. 3, this is from a collector who bought some lots somewhere and this is the junk that didn't work and he just wanted to get any amount of money back for this stuff. Or 4, it was legitimate, everything is authentic, it all works, and someone just owned this before and they're just trying to get a couple bucks. Here's that copy of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. The game is worth nothing, but it's legitimate and it's pretty clean, besides that marker on the back. And then this copy of Pokemon Ruby here. Now, bootlegs have run rampant in the GBA world, especially with Pokemon games, but if you look at the way Game Boy Advance is written up there, and the fact that it has a number punched into the label, also the way that the E is written for the ESRB logo. Now, on the back, you can see that Nintendo logo is actually written properly. That's actually the way that their logo looks. And then you can see that Nintendo is printed on the PCB. So any one of these might not tell you it's authentic, but altogether will tell you that that is an authentic copy of Pokemon Ruby. So now let's clean all this stuff up. Now here's a copy of Tony Hawk Pro Skater all cleaned up. Now this was in pretty good shape before I did anything to it, so I kind of just polished it up. And this game isn't really that good anyway, so it might have just been a waste of time to even clean it. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater was developed by Neversoft and released between 1999 and 2003 for a plethora of consoles. Unlike the 3D world that most versions take place in, the Natsume-developed Game Boy Color version is a stripped-down 2D redesign of the original. The game features 10 skaters, 4 modes including head-to-head and the half-pipe, and supports 2-player races via the link cable. Needless to say, the Game Boy Color version was the worst received of all the releases. And here is the GBA after it was all cleaned up. Now this is missing the back battery cover, but you can get those for like probably 75 cents on eBay, so it's not really a big deal. The condition of this is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really yellowed and scratched to hell, and yeah, the lens does have some scratching on it, but it really isn't bad. All the buttons push in, there's actually nothing wrong with the D-pad. I did just clean the outside of this. I didn't feel the need to take the whole thing apart because I didn't notice any issues with the D-pad, but I mean, when you get stuff like this, if there is any problems, like a button not working, whatever, just take it apart and clean underneath it and everything should be fine. So here's the SP. Now it is a 001 model, which is cool with me. It doesn't really matter. Now it does mean it has a dimmer screen instead of the 101. You wouldn't know that on this besides the color because the serial number sticker is gone. But the two things that I thought were going to be wrong with this was, 1, I thought the battery was going to be destroyed, which is very, very common in these, and 2, I thought the fuse was going to be blown, which is something else that's very common. But neither of those were an issue here. I plugged it right in at a charge. I really couldn't believe it. So those are the two things to look out for if you're looking to get yourself a GBA SP. Although Pokemon Ruby does use flash memory, you might have noticed that there's a battery on the board of this game, and that's because the Game Boy Advance doesn't have a clock built into it like the DS and modern consoles do. So Pokemon used a battery on the board to keep the time so that these clock-based events can occur. It's very common for this battery to be dead by now, so you're going to have to replace it. There it is right there. The internal battery has run dry. Now, your save will still be on the game because, again, it uses flash memory, but all these clock-based events are not going to occur. There's a save right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the battery on this thing now. So to open up a GBA game, we are going to need a tri-wing screwdriver. It does not use the same security bit as a Game Boy game or an NES game. So here we are opening it. Now once you get the screw out, you're just going to slide the front down and then it pops right off. Now this is what an authentic GBA board looks like. Again, this game does save to flash memory, so that battery is only there for clock-based events. And you can see the Nintendo printed on the bottom right above the pins. I mean, that's an authentic board. So we're going to swap the battery. Now the battery that comes in this is a CR1616, and we're going to put a CR2032 in. Now here's just a cheap soldering iron you can get from Walmart. I'm away from my equipment right now, so I just picked this one up to do this for the video. Now here's the 2032 that I was talking about. They're both 3-volt batteries, they're just different sizes. And there is the old one in there, and now you can see there is the new one put in. I was going to do it on camera, but it was very hard to actually film from behind the camera and solder at the same time, so that didn't happen. And then you just put it back together, you can cram it all in there, it'll still fit even though it's a little bigger, and there you go. You will have a brand new battery for the clock-based events to still occur. You can test whether your soldering skills worked or not by turning on the GBA, and you're going to see that that thing that we saw before of the battery being run dry is not going to show up now. And there it is, it goes right to the game and you can play it, and all those events will now occur. And if you don't care, you can just play the entire game without that battery anyway. Pokemon Ruby was developed by Game Freak and released in 2003 exclusively for the Game Boy Advance alongside its sister installment, Pokemon Sapphire. The series continues in the same vein as the previous installments while adding over 100 new Pokemon, 2-on-2 battles, 4-player support, e-reader capabilities, and a designated clock battery. An enhanced version titled Pokemon Emerald was released in 2005. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire sold over 16 million copies combined, making them the highest selling games on the Game Boy Advance. They both received 3DS remakes in 2014. So let's take a look at everything after it's been cleaned up. There's the GBA, really just missing a back battery cover. There's the SP, all charged up and working properly. Here is the copy of Pokemon Ruby with its new clock battery in it. I'm not going to try to get the lettering off the label. And then there's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which is trash anyway, but it was part of the lot, so we cleaned it up and we'll leave it there. So now you guys are probably finally wondering exactly how much this costs. You all have a number in your head. Well, let's go back to the ad that I had showed at the beginning of this, and there it is, the GBA SP ad, and then at the bottom says $5 takes it. $5 for GBA, a GBA SP, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and Pokemon Ruby. $5. I met up with the guy. It was a nice smooth transaction. Didn't lose any kidneys. And for the last place here, we're going to go back to the indoor flea market that we went to before. As I walk in, I see some Ninja Turtle stuff here, some illustrated books back there, and then this tin can here, which I believe at one point originally housed Ninja Turtles gummies, and now it's just kind of a decorative piece. They wanted $10 for that. And then there's a bunch of 360 games here. Now, these were all $3 a piece, but they were varying condition. There's Star Wars Connect, we got Connect Disneyland, Dead or Alive 4, Fallout New Vegas here, Skate 3, Assassin's Creed 2, which is a great game. Skate 3 is also a great game. Lego Lord of the Rings is excellent, beat that last year. This copy of Diablo 3 had a absolutely wrecked disc. There's a Call of Duty Ghost, Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock, which I found like 10 copies of that last year. Here's a Thor pop. This is actually worth quite a bit, but the hammer was broken, his eyes were scratched, and the spring for his head was gone. So even for 10 bucks, I feel like it was too much money. And then down here are some N64 games. Killer Instinct Gold, look at that, for $2. You bet I'm picking that up. We're going to see if we can clean it up. And there's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, also $2, and F1 World Grand Prix. So I'm actually going to leave the latter two because I don't really need them. But we're going to see what we can do with this one. And then there's the 360 set. Buying this stuff is just such a gamble because it was just made like trash and they're all red ringed. Now here are some figures. I passed on these last time, the Devil May Cry marionette figures. There's actually two different colors here, which I didn't realize. When I saw these last time, there's a red and a purple. They also make, I believe, a blue and a green. I'm going to pick these up this time. They're still $10, but I'm not going to leave them behind. And then here is this Xbox 360 lot. I believe this at $100. Now this is not the original model, so it's more reliable, but still, none of this stuff comes with a warranty, so I'm not really looking to buy any 360 consoles here. Now here is a bigger tin for the Ninja Turtles. This one I believe is for popcorn. Yep, there it is. And I'm pretty sure I had a beach towel when I was a kid that had the same design on it. I do like design, I don't need the tin, but it's nice. Now here is another booth. So you guys have seen most of these booths because we were here going to the same place last time. And here are some other games. Now this booth actually has a sign here that says 50% off entire booth. I didn't even notice that sign. I don't know how I didn't notice that. But I definitely would have picked up some other stuff here, or some stuff in general, because I don't think I picked up anything from this booth. I didn't notice the sign. And here we have some DS and Wii stuff, a lot of just 10-footers here. What does that say? Victorious, We Play As Trash, Our House Party. I don't have this game. I would have tried that game for $1.50. What else we got here? Sing It. Yeah, just overall garbage. And then some 360 stuff, a lot of junk. This copy of Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PS3, I definitely would have picked this up for $4. What else we got here? Gears of War 3, Gears of War. We got Mind Jack, Connect Adventures, some 10-footers, but some good stuff in there. Here we got Wally down here on the PS2. What is this? Hot Shots Tennis, Gran Turismo, some bowling games, Spider-Man's over there, ESPN, 007. We got some N64 stuff over here, nothing crazy. NBA Courtside, I believe that says, and then below it is Ready to Rumble Boxing. But for a couple bucks, I mean, you can't beat that. I don't know, I can't read that tag, so I don't know how much those were. Maybe $4, and then 2 after discount. And here's some PS2 consoles over here. Even if they were $40, I mean, $20 complete with everything is great. Alright, so on to the next booth. Now, you guys have seen this booth in the previous episode that we were here. Now, everything here is 25% off. In the back, we got 101 Dalmatians plastic lunchbox. There's also some thermoses back there. There's an Amazing Spider-Man one. A Tinkerbell backpack. And down here, we have some Pokemon cards and some N64 games. Here is WWF Warzone, Sarge's Heroes, Mickey Speedway USA, which is a great game. What else we got? WWF International Superstar Soccer 64. Now, I don't have that game, so I'm going to pick it up. I don't even really see it that often. And it is a Konami game. I'm always trying to pick up some old school Konami games. Here's Forsaken. I already have that game. NBA Hang Time, WrestleMania, and then Perfect Dark. I'm going to pick up NBA Hang Time. It's a great game. And we got Turok 2 and Wave Race 64, also great games. There's just a lot of common stuff here that I already have, and I really don't know anybody looking for any of this stuff in trade. Battle Tanks, NBA Live 98, I believe that one is. Quest 64. That's like one of the only RPGs on the system that everyone can't stand. Pokemon Puzzle League, there's hundreds of hours you can put into that game. It's pretty much Tetris Attack on the N64, and there's some upgrades and stuff. Great game. And here are the two that I'm going to grab from the booth. Besides the N64 stuff, there was a silver GameCube behind it. It did come with a third-party controller, but all the port covers were intact on the bottom. The lid opens and closes, and there's the AV and AC behind it. $40 for that with 25% off might not be bad if you're looking for it. I just don't need another one. Here is a Wii in the box. Now, this is supposed to come with Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. I don't remember if this bundle is the one that came with both of them on the same disc or not, but if it had it in there, I was going to pick it up. Here is the controller. Here's the stand. The thing was like put in upside down, so I had to rearrange it. And then here's some games. There's Wii Fit Plus, which I don't need any copy of. There's the manual for Wii Sports Resort. There was no trace of any of the other games in here. I was hoping there would have been. And then there's, of course, the manuals for the console, the power supply next to it. And then there's this little piece that nobody ever knows about. This is the thing that actually supports the motion bar, so that way you don't have to tape it onto things. That thing is missing whenever I find a Wii in the box. And then there's the AV and everything. Here's some new stuff since the last time we were here. There's a bunch of comics now. Only a couple bucks a piece, I'm pretty sure. There was a #1 here of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I do love the Power Rangers, but I don't need to collect everything under the sun, so I did leave it behind. And then here's a Geeky Tiki of Leonardo. I believe these were from like Loot Crate or something. These are awesome. They're shot glasses. It was $5, a little too steep for me because I don't need it, but pretty cool, honestly. And then here's the place that we looked at last time also. I mean, this place isn't that big, so we're going to be seeing the same thing whenever we come here. And here is a bunch of movies. And also there's some video games below it. Now there's a new sign here that says video games are $2 unless otherwise marked. And there's just a shelf here of some random stuff, a bunch of Wii games. We got Arcade Zone. I should have picked this up. There's really no excuse. I believe this is like updated 2600 games, but you can also play the original. What else do we have here? Here's Deca Sports 2. Now there's 3 of these on the original Wii. There's so many games. There's like log cutting, there's curling, there's figure skating. If you haven't played any of these, pick them up. They're very cheap. Here's another copy of Arcade Zone. That's what I'm saying. There's no reason I didn't pick it up for $2. Here's Chuck E. Cheese Party Games. I did pick this up because I have no clue what it is. I mean, I know what Chuck E. Cheese is, but I don't know what that game could possibly be. And then again, here's a bunch of movies, a couple bucks a piece. High Crimes, Envy is in there. Here's a Men in Black game, something Alien Escape, maybe Men in Black 2. I know that game's trash. What else do we have here? Wii Ski is there. And then I find this copy here of Whiplash. Now, I've only ever seen this on the Xbox, and it's kind of interesting to me. I always get this game confused with a racing game, Mad Dash. There is a Dragon Ball, what is this, Xenoverse? I think this game was $10. It was there last time we were here. There's the Dragon Ball Evolution movie that everybody hates. We saw the game earlier on the PSP. And here's the stuff I ended up picking up at that little flea market. Here's a Devil May Cry marionette figure. Now, this is a purple one. There were 4 colors, as I had mentioned before. There's purple, red, green, and blue, I believe. There's a Mega Man sticker in the bottom because this is made by Capcom. And these have interchangeable arms and interchangeable heads and everything. Here's the red one. The box is a little more beat than the other one, but still they are new in box and everything, and the figures are in perfect shape. So I did pass these up last time. I wasn't going to pass them up again. I love the fact that they're different colors. They actually look great side by side. And then there's the back of it. It's got the logo from the first game, and then there's Dante and everything. Just a nice figure. I don't remember what year these are from, but they look good. And here they are side by side, the purple and the red one. You can just imagine how nice they'd look with the green and blue one there also. And for the first game I grabbed there, here's an Xbox Live Arcade game pack. Now this was in that row of $3 games, this also was $3. I just didn't notice it at the point of filming. The nice thing about having these on disc is that any of these games could leave the Xbox Live Marketplace at any point, as we've seen happen. I mean, none of these necessarily will, but like things like the Ninja Turtles game or the Simpsons game have, so it'd be nice to just have them on disc in case something like that happens. Xbox Live Arcade Pack was released in 2009 exclusively for the Xbox 360 and includes 3 games on disc: Lumines Live, Geometry Wars 2 Retro Evolved, and Bomberman Live, as well as a downloadable code from Miss Pac-Man. Other compilations like this have been released over the years, including multiple other Xbox Live arcade packs and game collections from companies like Konami, Capcom, Namco, PopCap, and Atari. And next up from the $3 line of 360 games, here's MX vs. ATV Alive. Now this series has been going for quite a while, and this game was in beautiful shape. It looks like it's never been played. I don't really know anything about this series besides it's like an off-road racing game, so I figured, the price was right, the condition was right, so I was definitely going to check it out. MX vs. ATV Alive was developed by Rainbow Studios and released in 2011 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. MX vs. ATV is an off-road racing series where you can choose between riding motocross bikes or all-terrain vehicles. Alive is the 4th installment in the series following Unleashed, Untamed, and Reflex. The game was sold for less than retail price in an attempt to push downloadable content sales. The DLC includes tracks, vehicles, modes, gear, and more. The series is still going today, with MX vs. ATV All Out being released in 2018. And next up is the Don't Judge Me pickup of the video. Here's Chuck E. Cheese's Party Games. Now there's actually quite a bit of games in this series. I believe there's 3 on the Wii and at least 3 on the DS. I remember T-Mobile was giving away a free pizza if you bought $5 in tokens at Chuck E. Cheese for one of their T-Mobile Tuesdays, and I wanted to go get that free pizza, but I knew I'd probably be arrested on sight for walking in there because I don't have any kids, and that's just a way to immediately go to jail. Chuck E. Cheese's Party Games was published by UFO Interactive in 2010 for the Nintendo Wii and DS. The game has you going through a Chuck E. Cheese establishment where you're able to play games, make pizza, and redeem tickets. You are also given multiple rooms to display your prizes. There are 18 games to play in total, including air hockey, basketball, skee-ball, and Smash-a-Munch, also known as Whack-a-Mole. A combination of button and motion controls are used throughout the activities. Despite being a game about party games, this is a single-player experience. Now besides No More Heroes, this is probably my favorite pickup of the video. This is a game that I don't see that often, but I always confuse it with Mad Dash. I don't know why, they just look the same to me for some reason. Anyway, when I put this in to get the footage for it, it actually completely blew me away. This game is hilarious. If you do not have this game and you want to play a funny game, just do yourself a favor and pick up Whiplash. Whiplash was developed by Crystal Dynamics and released in 2003 for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. The game follows 2 animals, Spanx the Weasel and Redman the Rabbit, who escape from their cage where they're being tested on. The 2 attempt to fight their way out while beating up scientists, freeing other caged animals, and destroying the lab in the process. Redman continuously gains new abilities and can be used as different weapons, including the hairsicle, the flaming furball, and the electrostatic rabbit. Whiplash is a solid platformer that is packed with humor and great controls. And here's that copy of Killer Instinct Gold for the N64. $2 was a steal for this, but then again, the condition reflects the price. We're going to clean this up and hopefully we can make it look presentable. There's some stuff that we've talked about before that we can't fix, like label damage, but we're going to do what we can. And just remember that N64 labels are not as durable as Nintendo, Super Nintendo, or Genesis ones. They don't have that clear coating, so you really have to be careful around them because you can easily take all that color right off and just be left with a white label. And here's the final product, and this is as good as the thing's ever really going to look. There is some label damage that we can't fix, and that's fine. What's done has been done. All we're trying to do is make this thing look as presentable as possible. The contact's cleaned up perfectly on this thing, but there is still some residue on the label, and the only thing that's probably going to remove that is Goo Gone, and I'm not even going to attempt it because the second Goo Gone touches that label, it's taking the color with it. Killer Instinct Gold was developed by Rare and released in 1996 exclusively for the Nintendo 64. Killer Instinct is a one-on-one 2D fighter that is set in 3D environments. Like Street Fighter, you have 3 types of punches and 3 types of kicks, and like Mortal Kombat, you have fatalities. The game allows you to string together extreme combos and juggle opponents, however they can interrupt your destruction by using a combo breaker. Like its arcade counterpart, there are 10 characters to choose from, 7 return from the previous game and 3 are all new. Unlike its arcade counterpart, Gold adds a practice mode, new camera functionality, as well as upgraded visuals and sound. Killer Instinct received a third entry exclusive to the Xbox One in 2013. Alright, next up we have NBA Hang Time, and this is a game that you don't hear people talk about that often, at least I don't, but this game was in great shape, and it's an excellent game, belongs in everyone's N64 collection, in my opinion. NBA Hang Time was developed by Midway and released in 1996 for arcades and between 1996 and 1997 for home consoles and PC. The game is an over-the-top arcade-style 2-on-2 basketball game. It's the third installment in the series that includes NBA Jam and College Slam. NBA Hang Time allowed for character creation, which can be upgraded by winning games and new moves like the alley-oop. There are 29 teams to choose from, with 5 selectable characters on each from the 96 and 97 season. The arcade version received an update titled NBA Maximum Hang Time that updated the player roster for the 1997 season. And finally, to wrap up the video, here's International Superstar Soccer 64. This is a Konami game, and it's one that I picked up because I didn't have it, and it was cheap enough, and it's something that I don't really see all the time, and it was honestly in pretty nice shape. International Superstar Soccer 64 was developed by Konami and released in 1997 exclusively for the Nintendo 64. The series originated in 1995 on the Super Nintendo and ended in 2003 with the 6th generation of consoles. The game sports 36 international teams, live commentary, a creative player feature, 4-player gameplay, and 6 game modes. Pro Evolution Soccer has superseded the series and continues to be released today. Well, that's all my pickups. What have you guys found lately? What have you been playing? What have you been listening to? What have you been reading? Thank you very much for watching, and as always, stay nerdy.
Getting your nerd on, getting your nerd on, getting your nerd on.
I got a raging nerd on.